Today we're going to talk about quadrilaterals. Quadrilaterals are four-sided figures. And quadrilaterals are put into different categories and different names. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the parallelogram, the rectangle, the square, and the rhombus, and also trapezoid, which is on the next page. In order to be a parallelogram, we have to have two sets of parallel lines. Okay, and as you see, as I pointed out, all four of these shapes have two sets of parallel lines. And what is a parallel line? Parallel lines are lines that do not touch. If you look at my parallelogram, my green line and my other green line over here will not touch if I extend them. That's what makes a set or a pair. So a set is two lines and a pair is two lines. So you need two lines in order to make a set or pair. Okay? So all parallelograms have two sets or pairs of parallel lines. And the green is one and the orange is the other in this parallelogram. Over here in the rhombus, the same thing. The green, they're both going the same way, so if I could extend them out, they will not touch. That's what parallel lines mean. Okay? And down here we have the square, the purple ones. If I extend them out, they will not touch, and then the orange ones as well. And over here in the rectangle, the orange ones, if I extend them up and down, they won't touch, and if I extend the purple ones left and right, they won't touch. So that's what makes all of these parallelograms. Okay? Now, the difference between a parallelogram and a rectangle is that a rectangle has four right angles, okay? And a right angle is also called a squared corner, okay? I sometimes call it as it makes an L shape, okay? And it has four of them. The rectangle is different because of that, because if you look at a parallelogram, this has two acute, which are the red ones, and two obtuse, which are the purple ones. An obtuse angle, it's kind of like a wider angle, and an acute angle, it's kind of like a bent angle. It's like a closer. The lines are closer together. Okay? So that separates the rectangle from the parallelogram. What separates the rhombus from a parallelogram, it's a rhombus has all four sides are equal length or congruent. Congruent means the same thing, the same. Okay, so if I look at all four of my blue lines that make up this rhombus, they're all the same size. Okay, and this is not a square. Okay, so we're going to go down here to the square, and if you look at the square, how straight the lines are going either up and down or left or right. These are kind of bent. Okay, these are kind of right down here makes their acute angle. The lines are closer together. When you see a square, the lines are always the same. They always make the L shape. Okay, so a square has four right angles, and all four sides are equal length or congruent. So that's the similarity between the rhombus and the square. The similarity between the square and the rectangle is the four right angles. That's why squares can be rectangles. The reason why rectangles can't be squares is because of all four sides are equal length or congruent. Okay, so once again, all of these are quadrilaterals. All of these are parallelograms, okay, because they have two sets of parallel lines. All right, so if I would ask you which shape has two pairs of parallel lines, you would say a parallelogram, a rectangle, a square, and a rhombus. If I would ask you what are the two shapes that have four right angles, you would say square and rectangle. Okay, so we look at angles, lines, and sides when we talk about quadrilaterals. Okay, so let's go to our next one, which is the trapezoid. The trapezoid is the only quadrilateral that has one set of parallel sides. And if you look at this, the parallel sides would be the bottom and the top. If I would extend those out, they would not touch. The two on the side, if I would extend it out up here, eventually they're going to touch up here. Okay? So So if I keep extending these out, they're going to touch. So one set of parallel sides separate this quadrilateral from all of these other quadrilaterals over on this side. Okay? So remember, when we talk about quadrilaterals, we talk about its sides, lines, and angles. Okay? It's sides, lines, and angles. Hopefully that clears up a little bit more discussion on quadrilaterals.